Hi, Ben from Be Active Peterborough. So congratulations, you've made it to video number 3. This video I've given you a small breakdown on digestion. So why is digestion important to your goal? Well, on one hand I want you to think about a rusty, old, broken down kind of machine, and on the other hand I want you to think of a brand new, sparkly, shiny one. Well, one of them is your digestion system. Obviously the more rusty, old, broken down one is not going to perform as well, and the clean, shiny one is going to perform a hell of a lot better. Why that's important is you are your digestion. If your digestion's not working properly, you'll feel rubbish. If your digestion's working really well, you'll feel great and you'll look great. So here's the thing. How do we go about this? Well, I'm just going to give you a very small breakdown on what should happen, how to avoid cravings, which are caused by bad digestion, and why the gaps in between eating and how to eat for energy are so important. So, step 1, what should happen? Well, if your digestion is nice and efficient and working properly, you should just be able to eat easily. There shouldn't be any noises coming from your gut, there shouldn't be any burping, there shouldn't be any wind from the other end happening, and it should be a very smooth process. There shouldn't be any food babies and this kind of stuff. If this is happening, this could show an underlying acidity problem, an underlying hormone problem, an underlying irritability to any kind of food that you're having. So all of these things are always worth paying attention to. And if you are getting some of these, please let me know about them, either on the nutrition questionnaire that you may have already had, or just tell myself. So how to fix this? It's as straightforward as move a little tiny bit more, which you'll be doing if you're with myself. Make sure that your digestion's set up to you, which you'll be doing more if you're with myself. And then finally, let's make sure that your sleep pattern is very, very consistent, because if you're not sleeping consistently, your body's not getting a consistent release, consistent rest and time to make the gut heal, and the gut is almost like a bit of a muscle. So, cravings. Why are cravings and digestion linked? Well, the thing is, if you're craving food, it can be down to your digestion because you're not producing the right amount of nutrient acid in the gut, so you're not getting the right amount of nutrients in your body. You might not be eating enough food, so you're not getting the right amount of nutrients. And if any of these things are happening, you're going to start craving sugary and snack-like food and never feel satisfied. So you're going to be a lot more open to wanting to crave foods and just not standing a chance when it comes to willpower. So the way to fix this is making sure that your calorific intake is good, which we've talked about in video number 1, but also making sure that your gut is strong enough to process the right foods. So then when you are eating, you're digesting those foods and getting the most out of them. And otherwise you just really don't stand a chance. And a lot of people talk to me about willpower and motivation with this, and yeah, they are a little factor, but you've got to make sure that the gut lining and the gut is performing properly and the body is getting the right amount of nutrients, otherwise this really won't help either. And finally, following on from that, the final step is eating for energy. Well, a lot of us eat when we're hungry and we believe that keeps our energy levels up. And partly that's true, but the other part of this is very, very important, is the gap. If you're having a meal first thing in the morning, the gap between then and when you've been asleep is very, very important in order to digest things. And it's the same from breakfast to lunch to tea. When you're having those meals, the gaps in between is when your body has time to digest. So actually, sometimes leaving a bit of a gap is actually very, very helpful for weight loss. My advice to you is, in those gaps, drink plenty of water, aid your body to break down these solids with liquid, and it really will thank you in the long run. You don't always have to eat. The body will go for 3 weeks without food as long as it's getting ample amount of water. So make sure that you kind of give it plenty of water, but don't get too scared about being hungry. Keep to your calorific goal, which would have been set by you by myself, but leaving the small gaps is actually very helpful for digestion. Gone are the days of 6 meals and small and often eating, because it just messes with our body's energy system, and as you just now know about digestion. So yeah, in short, your digestion should be nice and healthy and quiet and efficient, and that nice, shiny, clean machine. Cravings, you should have the ability to fight against them. If you don't, it's not always your fault. And finally, eating for energy. Don't always feel like you've got to eat to gain energy. Actually, sometimes look at moving a bit more, look at what's in your original diet calorifically and from a nutrients base, and you won't go far wrong.